I think the Traitors left Sierra and Nikki in the game as buffers, hoping that we will banish them, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
No one is saying her name, and it's Carolyn.
They say silence is golden, and sadly, Danielle missed that class. The audacity to throw Caroline under the bus doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I think she's trying to make a big move like what Boston Rob did, but Boston Rob was more calculated than what she's done. And this has been her undoing because Bob the Drag Queen and Danielle talked too much when it wasn't necessary for them to talk. The way she played the game and kept moving other people's pictures and not putting herself up there doesn't make sense, given the fact that she knows that people were suspecting her. And also, for her to say she wants to get rid of Caroline so that she can have her own number one and number two, the show is not going to allow that. The show is not going to allow that. She will have to play bridesmaid to Boston Rob because Boston Rob has made the biggest move. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing The Traitors, Season 3, Episode 5. So we continue from the talk, and the Traitors are not happy with Boston Rob because he got rid of Bob the Drag Queen. And then he reveals that he threw me under the bus. So if he came for me, I wasn't going to sit there and allow him to just run me over. I had to make sure that I took him out. And all I want to say is, if you girls want to, we can play together. But if you come for me, then I'm coming for you. And one of us is going to win. And this is what Phaedra said I remember to what was her name? I've forgotten from last season, but she told her that nobody likes you. And if the two of you want to play this game, I am going to be successful. And so you could tell Danielle and Caroline were shaken. They were shooketh to the core. So then they started discussing who to kill. There was a conversation about Sam, and then there was a conversation about Gabby, and Boston Rob was adamant about Robin, and I didn't quite understand it until I sort of sat back and looked, and it makes sense Boston Rob would want to get rid of Robin. Robin was close friends with Bob the Drag Queen, and so there is a possibility that she would have been told that Boston Rob was a traitor. So I think he decided to kill two birds with one stone. So he got rid of Bob the Drag Queen, and he got rid of his number two, which was Robin. And so he then decided, we're killing Robin, and the other girls had to jump on board with him because they're outnumbered. And for Danielle to feel some type of way doesn't make sense because this is what she and, Bob the Drag Queen have been doing since day one. So, but Boston Rob has just beat them to their own game. In the morning, you have everyone come down. Danielle is in the first group of people coming down. Everyone is nervous. There is conversations about what's going to happen. Everybody comes down except for Sam, Gabby, and Robin. And so then it's revealed that, Robin is the one who was killed. Boston Rob got his way. He got his way and he played a smart move. And so you now have Danielle shaking in her boots. You have Caroline shaking because they don't know how to manage this beast that's in charge. They should have behaved themselves. I think the day one when he came in, they should have given him the power to say, what do you think we should do? But they wanted to show him that they were in charge, and then he stepped in and sort of took control of that thing. Alan comes out. He tells them who's been killed. You have Robin. Robin is upset. She's upset that she's been killed. Dolores is sad because she's now the only housewife left. So she's saying to everyone, please, save a shield for me because otherwise I might be the next target. Then the conversation starts. Ivo, I think, knows for a fact that Boston Rob is the traitor. And so he reveals, so after they leave and they're sort of having conversations, he reveals to Boston Rob that, Wes threw you under the bus. He said you were a traitor because you knew 100% that, Bob the Drag Queen was a traitor. And it's like, wow. Why? Wes, you should have kept your mouth shut for at least a bit and got more comfortable and built more alliances because you're the only person from the challenge. And I've said this before. So Boston Rob, when he heard this, he went straight to Wes to ask Wes, what did you say? And then Wes says, oh, I was just complimenting you that, you did such a smart move because it would only take a traitor to know that, this person is a traitor. And it's like, nah, that's not it. You were saying whatever you were saying, stand on it. But you're now afraid of Boston Rob because you know he runs this castle. Boston Rob pulls Caroline aside for a chat and he tells Caroline that, I'm not going to kill you. You are my number 2, so I'm always going to protect you. And it's like, I think Caroline, of the two devils, she's better off with Boston Rob, because at the end of the day with Danielle, she's number 3, number 4, number 5. Because you have Danielle pull her aside for a chat to sort of suss her out and find out where she stands. And Caroline is saying, I'm shooketh to the core. I don't even know what to do. So they have this conversation and Danielle, I think, is trying to suss out Caroline. And then Danielle in her confessional is busy saying, I need to get a number 2, a new number 2. So her plan, it seems, is to kill Caroline, or to get rid of Caroline, to get her banished. And then once she has Caroline banished, she will then go on to banish Boston Rob with whoever her alliance is. And then she'll bring in another person. So her goal is to have 3 people that she trusts and not the 3 people that were chosen by Alan Cummings. And it's like, no, this is not your game. Be careful, because Boston Rob will take you out. He's already warned you that if you play stupid games, I will win in the end. So I really hope she knows what she's doing. I really hope she doesn't end up crying because she's made a big mistake. So you have everyone leave the castle to go for their next challenge. The challenge is at a church and they have urns on a shelf with sort of labels on them. And so Alan is going to read riddles and then you get to pick an urn that you think answers the riddle. So first up we had Derek. He's the first one to go up. He was able to get the first answer right. And so he was able to put his picture on the wall because he told everyone that he wanted, he was going to be selfish and he was going to choose himself. So he put his picture up first. Then went Tom. Tom got it right. Well, Bob Harper got his incorrect. So if you got your answer incorrect, then you were already eliminated from the game. You didn't get to compete again. Others chose to stay back and just stay quiet. People like Wes, because he knew that, he had already started something and he didn't want to get himself further trouble with Boston Rob because he had already thrown Boston Rob's name out there and Boston Rob knew about it. And then you had Danielle pick up a correct urn, and I didn't understand her gameplay. This is the problem with Danielle and Bob the drag queen. They are not very analytical in their thinking. They just think of something and they run with it. And so they don't look at the long game. The fact that Boston Rob didn't participate, or the fact that Caroline didn't participate, didn't even dawn on her. She kept jumping. So she decided with her first win, she decided to save, Dolores the housewife, because she said, I don't like the idea that they keep killing them. Then Derek was upset with her, and so she decided to, when she won the next one, she decided to put Derek back on the wall. And it's like everyone started questioning that. So are you not worried about yourself? Do you not think that you are going to be killed? And then she sort of started, I think I made a mistake. And it's like, your acting is not as good as you think it actually is, because if you were that great an actress, you would have been in Hollywood, but you're not. So something needs to tell you that what you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Instead of doing too little, like Phaedra accused that man of, you've decided to do too much. And in doing too much, you've sort of outplayed yourself. Sierra was the last one to win. She won one. And so she took out Derek because she said, I can't, take out Dolores. She's my friend, which meant that the 2 people with the shield were Dolores and Sierra. And everyone was sort of suspicious of the fact that Danielle won twice, and both times she didn't pick herself at all. And so questions started flying. And then on the way back, you had Danielle sort of try to explain herself that, I felt so sorry. This is why I picked Dolores. And it's like, you are just making things worse. Maybe try and take a moment and just bite your tongue and sit back and watch and see what everybody else is doing before you start waffling. She then threw out Caroline's name, and it's like, why are you doing this? This is the reason why Bob the drag queen is at home, because Boston Rob took him out as soon as he found out that he was coming after him. And so the idea that you think you would get to choose who replaces Caroline on your own doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I think she plans on bringing in Derek. I hope they don't bring in Derek. Instead, I hope they bring in Wes, and the Wes will ride it to the end with Boston Rob, and they can get rid of her. Because at the end of the day, she's playing a silly game. And sadly, the moment Caroline catches a whiff of it, she's going to go to Boston Rob and say to him, you owe me. What are you going to do? Because you said you'll protect me. And if he protects her, then poor Danielle is going home. So when they return to the castle, there is whispering, and Danielle is trying to get people on board. And it's like, Danielle, this mission of yours, you are now on an island. Caroline is very erratic. You don't know whether she's going left, right, or center. So the idea that you think you want to sort of throw her under the bus, if she finds out that you have thrown her name out, she's going to burn this castle down. She's going to burn this castle down. So I personally don't understand why Danielle was going around telling people this. They get to the round table. Ivor decides to be the first one to speak, so he puts out the names. He puts out Boston Rob, Sierra, and Nikki. And he says to Boston Rob, the problem is you are very certain about, Bob the drag queen. And this is why people are questioning whether you are a traitor yourself. Because why would you be so confident in naming him if you are not a traitor? So we all believe that you're a traitor. And this is why you need to convince us otherwise. And Boston Rob said a lot of nothing. He said a lot of nothing. And I think everyone is now terrified of him. This is why they didn't argue with him. Because people didn't say anything. He said a lot of nothing and sat back, and then everybody else just kept quiet. Nobody challenged him to say, yes, what you said doesn't make sense. Danielle, I think, was waiting for people to bite, and no one wants to be the one who says Boston Rob's name. So everybody else just sat back and watched. And then Nikki sadly wasn't able to fight for herself, because she did try to sort of put an argument out there that, I am just a quiet person, but Chriselle is the one who threw her under the bus. Chriselle was the endorsement that people needed to vote her out, which is really sad, because they could have kept her in the game and kept the suspicion around her, because she's very quiet and very reserved. Sierra tried to speak up, but at the end of the day, I don't think people are sort of buying that Sierra is a traitor. I think they're just throwing her name out just because they want to put her name out there, but I don't think they were actually convinced that she is a traitor. The voting went round and majority voted for Nikki, which was really sad though, because being a wrestler, you'd expect her to be so out there, outspoken and whatever, but she was just quiet with her gameplay. And because she was quiet with her gameplay, this is why she was banished, because people didn't believe her. And then she revealed that, no, actually, I'm not a traitor, I'm a faithful. And it was like, this is sad. This is really sad, because you're back to your losing streak, and no one had the guts to go after Boston Rob. I felt sorry for Chriselle when she was crying afterwards, because she was crying because they were Bambies, and now they've lost one of their own because they bought into what everybody else was saying. You have Derek have a conversation with Wes and say, I'm convinced that, Boston Rob is a traitor. And it's like, who's going to go after him? No one. You're not going to go after him, because if you do go after him, then, you're the next one. Poor Bob Harper put his name out there and said, I don't trust Boston Rob. I think Boston Rob is a traitor. And it's like, you've played a lot of games, and it's like, this is going to come back to bite you. I have a feeling that they're going to kill you. But then at the same time, Boston Rob could kill him and get away with killing him. Because at the end of the day, you had Danielle kill Jeremy and she got away with it. So he could easily kill him and blame it on somebody else. He could kill him and blame it on somebody else and say, the reason why people killed him is because he had said my name. And so people wanted the suspicion on me, which I would buy. If I were one of them. So I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 5. Bye guys.